Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome back if you're new. I had some opinions I wanted to talk about, and looking at them, I thought well, some of these are hard to swallow pills. So before beginning, I suggest you to go grab a glass of water, because I don't want you to choke on these pills. Just a reminder though, you are totally free to disagree completely, and if you do, then please comment what you think down below. I'm interested in reading what you guys have to say, but now enough with the talking, let's just get into the video. Some bad line distributions are unjustifiable. Sometimes a line distribution is unequal because some members are far more skilled than others, because some members can't sing, so obviously they're gonna get less lines. But it's kinda ridiculous how some stands are trying to justify every single poor line distribution. For example, a foreign member gets less lines and people say things like, oh, it's because they're not comfortable in Korean and maybe they specifically asked to have shorter parts. Yes, of course, this might be a reason in the beginning, but if the group has been around for years and that member is clearly fluent in the language, then this doesn't make sense. Other times we come across a group with an unbalanced line distribution and we complain about it. Then some people say, well, this member gets the most lines because they're the only stable member during lives. And I'm just like, is this supposed to be a justification? Why the hell did the company debut a group if they knew only one member could sing live, knowing fully well they would have given that member 90% of the lines? This obviously means the company's plan was always to make the group revolve around that member. Not to mention this doesn't make sense anymore considering groups lip sync most of the time, and even when they sing live, there is always a backing track. So even if they're not that stable, you basically cannot tell. If you see a member getting all of the lines, it's not a stretch thinking that the company is simply favoring that member and treating the others like backup dancers. There's no need to go find an excuse and saying the others aren't stable, because nowadays stability doesn't matter that much anymore, and those members you claim are not stable aren't even that bad at live singing as you make them out to be in order to make it fit your narrative. Like for example, what about Hasul and Luna? She's the main vocalist along with Chu and she gets very little lines despite being a very good singer and also being stable. What excuse are you gonna find now? Just face it, some line distributions might be unequal because some members have poor skills, but other times there's absolutely no reason for some members to sing so little, so just admit that the company isn't treating everyone equally. La Vie en Rose would have flopped if CLC ended up singing it. I know this is an old topic, but just a couple of days ago Kepler performed La Vie en Rose at KCON and a lot of people started talking about how Eugene must have felt, since CLC was supposed to sing La Vie en Rose but then Cube just sold it and IZ*ONE ended up singing it. People brought this whole thing up again and I just have to say that oddly enough, some people seem to not understand this very simple thing. A song's popularity mostly comes from the group who sings it and how popular the group is. Obviously we have exceptions, underrated groups that put out a song and it goes viral. Just look at Brave Girls with Rolling or Momoland with Boom Boom. But these are anomalies, so I'm tired of seeing people saying that La Vie en Rose would have saved CLC. CLC's career was handled terribly by the company and one song couldn't have changed anything. Not to mention you're fools if you think La Vie en Rose would have done that well if CLC were the ones to sing it. It did well because of IZ*ONE's huge popularity, and I can assure you that if IZ*ONE ended up singing any CLC song, that song would have been much more successful than it ever was with CLC. And this isn't a drag to CLC, it's just the truth, and I'm sick and tired of people still blaming IZ*ONE for CLC's failure. Like come on, get a fucking life. You really do be praising idols and companies for the bare minimum. Let me make some examples. Let's talk about New Jeans. As you know, there have been quite a few controversies surrounding them, especially because of their debut song's questionable lyrics despite the members being all so young. Then suddenly some people have been praising the company for dressing the Magna in a very age-appropriate way, making her wear long pants that cover her well, and I'm like, excuse me, but that's literally the bare minimum. Why should I be praising the company for not dressing a minor in an inappropriate way? That's basic decency and it shouldn't be something exceptional to praise. Another example I was thinking of is about Jungkook, more specifically his dog that is a Doberman. People were praising him for not cutting his dog's tail and his ears, because this type of dog often receives this treatment in order to make them look more aggressive. So people were praising Jungkook for not doing that because it's a very bad experience for the dog that causes so much unnecessary pain. And once again, why are we praising an idol for showing basic human decency? Or others examples are when stans say, oh my god, this male idol was so respectful for not looking at that female idol when she was bending down, or something like that. Wow, why are we praising someone for not being creepy and inappropriate? That's kind of the bare minimum. I swear to God, this is embarrassing. Even if X1 didn't disband and they had a successful career, I still don't think the post-X1 groups would have been that successful. If X1 didn't disband, there's no doubt they would be one of the most successful and influential fourth-gen groups. There's no doubt their career would have been very fulfilling and full of achievements, which would make you think that every post-X1 group would go ahead and get a huge amount of success as well. But to be completely honest, I don't think this would have really happened. Obviously the post-X1 groups would now be much more known if X1 had the chance to carry out their activities instead of disbanding. But nowadays Korea just doesn't seem interested in boy groups besides the ones coming from the big four. Not to mention basically every post-X1 group ended up going for the same old bad boy concept. Something pretty unoriginal that doesn't make them stand out at all from every single other boy group out there. Then in my opinion the post-X1 groups debuted with too many members. So people that were interested because they wanted to support the boys that were in X1 might find it difficult getting interested in everyone else. And last but not least, every post-X1 group debuted under pretty small agencies, besides Starship, and some of these agencies are also infamous for mismanaging groups. For example MBK and Woollim. So in the end, I think that post-X1 groups wouldn't have been very successful even if X1 stayed together. On the other hand the soloists would have still done well and they are in fact doing very well right now, because they also have much more interesting concepts and sounds and it's easier getting into them. Not everything is queerbaiting. As a bisexual girl I can tell you I fucking hate queerbaiting. The queerbaiting culture is overall detrimental to those who are actually part of the LGBT community and I think we can all agree on this. But blindly labeling everything as queerbaiting is just as toxic and disrespectful towards those people that actually have the courage of speaking up about certain things. I'm thinking for example, idols like Idol Soyeon who wrote the lyrics for Oh My God using female pronouns, and even explicitly included the word girl in the English version. Another idol is Yoo Jung from Only One Of. Not too long ago he released his solo song titled Begin. The music video tells the story of his character falling in love with another guy, while the lyrics openly talk about overcoming prejudice. Yoo Jung is not the only member of Only One Of who released a solo song talking about this topic. Member Jungji also showcases same-sex attraction in the MV for his solo song titled Be Mine. These idols wanted to tell a message and knew what they were doing. They didn't just use LGBT as an aesthetic, they actually wanted to convey an important message. In the end it's not our place to speculate whether they're only supporters or maybe they're part of the community themselves. This is none of our business and it's not the point. But it's clear that they wanted to tell a message through their work and I find it extremely disrespectful just discrediting everything and calling it queerbaiting. I know that most K-pop songs featuring LGBT themes are only queerbaiting, and like I said I hate it, but generalizing everything as queerbaiting is just as toxic as queerbaiting itself. There are no words to express how awfully Hybe and Source Music handled the Garam situation. Okay, so, after Garam was kicked out, she spread the full school violence report which clarified many things and made the situation a lot more understandable. You can't even blame people for having thought she was actually a bully, considering all of the things that have been said and considering how badly the situation was handled by the company. A big company like Hybe couldn't manage to find evidence to defend Garam. Like, can you believe that? If only they had disclosed the full report, her image could have been somehow cleaned from all of the rumors. The company initially defended her, claiming she was the actual victim and she was only trying to help a friend, but then proceeded to not show any proof of this whatsoever. And what's worse is that they completely abandoned her and stopped defending her. For fuck's sake, why didn't they bring this whole thing to court? Why didn't they take legal actions? They could have saved her career and reputation but they just decided to kick her out. This is infuriating me and it just goes to show how much of a bad company Hybe is. And speaking of Garam, there is no way some of you actually believe the scandal was a setup. You can't be serious. Like there's no way. Ever since it all happened some stans have been saying how Hybe did it for popularity, as if they weren't one of the most popular entertainment companies already and as if LE SSERAFIM didn't have two members coming from one of the most successful 4th-gen groups. If there's one thing that LE SSERAFIM never lacked that was popularity, being Hybe's first girl group after so long, having Sakura and Chaewon coming from IZ*ONE. No way the company would have created a fake scandal. I know what some people say, any type of attention, even negative attention, is still good attention. But no, LE SSERAFIM never needed them. No Hybe group will ever need to fake scandals. You debut under Hybe and you automatically receive attention. Let's just face the truth. The whole situation just happened and no one was behind it. I know that speculating is something the K-pop stans do all the time. Y'all are conspiracy theorists. But this time you need to pack it up because it's ridiculous and delusional at best. You all give the Roddy Award more importance than it actually has. I will make some examples. Kristen won Roddy at Mama in 2017 and their career ended up in shambles. Weekly won Roddy at Mama in 2020 and they're making little to no noise in the industry right now. So basically, winning the Roddy doesn't mean your career will blossom and it will make you become the leading group of your generation. The only importance this award has is for the artists because it's like a symbol of achievement for their hard work. But objectively speaking, many groups that will never win the Roddy Award will still have amazing careers. Like I'm sorry, NMIXX and Kepler will not win the Roddy but they will still be extremely successful. I need y'all to stop victimizing NMIXX and saying things like, they will be the first JYP girl group that will not win the Roddy. They must feel so much pressure because of it. Like shut the fuck up. They will do just fine in their careers. This year the competition for Roddy is intense as hell when it comes to girl groups and I get why some people are obsessing over it. But even those groups that will not win are still gonna be extremely successful and relevant. So please stop being pathetic and overdramatic. Shippers seriously need to go out and touch some grass right now. I personally hate romantic shipping so much. I just find it pretty delusional. If an idol is in the same room as another idol and by chance they happen to look at each other for a split second, then you best believe everyone will start making up stories in their head about those idols being in a secret relationship or something. And let's not even talk about shipping idols from the same groups in a romantic way. I don't know about you, but I would find it so damn awkward if people ship me with my close friends. Some idols might not care and just brush it off, but for some idols it might be very uncomfortable and it make them not feel at ease every time they interact with their friend. Let's also take into consideration the possibility of some of these idols being LGBT and genuinely having feelings for one of their fellow members. I'm thinking it's just so hard coming to terms with your sexuality in a country like South Korea, let alone having feelings for a group mate and having a whole fandom shipping you and overanalyzing every single action. At the end of the day, we cannot stop people from shipping idols, and if they just kept it to themselves I would be fine with it, but they don't. They post weird things all over the internet where anyone can see, making things even worse. Dating is already a taboo topic in South Korea and crazy shippers only make things even more difficult for idols. So in conclusion, stop shipping idols. If you want to see cute couples, just go watch a K-drama or something. Well guys, these were some hard to swallow pills for you. You might agree with me 100% or disagree completely. That's fine. Some of these pills might really have been hard to swallow for some of you. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Thanks for watching and sticking till the end. Bye besties.